I'm Sam.
I'm Adam.
And today we're talking about Cyberpunk 2077. What went wrong? How did it go wrong? Did the game live up to its hype? And our initial impressions.
Well, we can talk about Cyberpunk at some point today, but that's not our actual topic. We are, as we said many times before, going to be talking about our disappointments of the year. Releases that we weren't so fond of. As well as some other mainstream albums that just kind of underwhelmed us, that we feel like we should talk about.
Yes, sir, indeed. But before that, we have to touch upon what we've been listening to on this cracking crazy week, Jimbo.
Do you want to start?
I see, well, I mean, I'm happy to start, but I see you've been banging the new Taylor Swift release.
I listened to it once. I also, truthfully, had not listened to that much music this week. But I did listen to the new surprise Taylor Swift album, Evermore, today, actually. And I think it's strange. The back half of the record is a lot noisier than the first half of the record. And
Taylor Swift is a harsh noise artist now. It just kind of
feels... The whole thing is like, there's a few, I mean, obviously, most of it is good, and frankly, most of it's better than most of her content. But in particular, like, the track with Haim, which, obviously,
it's pronounced Haim.
Haim, excuse me.
No, actually, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, but they're a big name, and when I listen to that track, it just feels so out of place because it's so aggressive and so fast and, like, has to do with, like, a true crime story or, like, some other bullshit that's, like, not related to the topic of the record at all.
Thanks, Taylor.
And so, like, I was kind of shocked by that. And there's a few points on the back half of the album where I'm just like, this feels too aggressive. Like, you're going to make a quarantine album. Like, I kind of want that quarantine vibe that I got off of most of Folklore. But, I mean, they're both good. They're both... fine lo-fi indie projects that are some of Taylor's best work yet. And that's about it. That's really all.
Sounds about right.
If you listen to Folklore and you liked it, you'll like Evermore and vice versa. So,
album of the decade?
I don't know if I'd go that far, but not bad. Not bad. Well, what about you? I see you've been jamming that new Enslaved record, actually. One of us actually listened to it. How do you feel?
Yeah, I was definitely disappointed. I didn't prepare too hard for this week just because I feel like looking over albums that we didn't like too much, it's best remembered as something of the past. But I decided, you know what, I'll check out Enslaved because I was reading a No Clean Singing article about releases that didn't really live up to this, and Enslaved was at the top of the list. And oh my god, I hate it. Yeah. It just sounds like mid-period Emperor with the cheese at 11 and too many clean parts. And it's not like I forget the name of their previous record, but Enslaved's record from like 2017 or whatever was like actually pretty good. Like, I know everyone loved it, and I've listened to it once or twice, and heck, I even liked it.
I think it was just called E.
E?
I think it was just called E.
I think you're right.
I could be wrong, but I think it was just called E.
But I decided to listen to the record from this year because why not? And oh wow.
Yeah.
Very underwhelming. I don't really like this type of music. It's a little too cheesy. It's a little too melody driven, but not in the way that I appreciate. And it just doesn't feel fully formed or mature the way their previous work has. Yeah. That's all I really have to say about it. Definitely not music for me. If you're like, a Learn Metal Brotherhood type and you like the mellow death and you like Anelna crap, I'm sure you'd find this good, but it's definitely not for me.
Gotcha. Well, good that we actually got
on that note,
an informed opinion on Enslaved.
No, exactly. But on that note, another genre of music that just is not for me, which I've been listening to copious amounts of music for, is a mother heckin' dungeon synth. I'm just gonna assume our viewers know what dungeon synth is.
Well, who knows? But, it's kind of obscure. You might want to touch on it, just a tad.
You know what? Being the resident dungeon synth expert, I'll let you tackle it out.
All right. Well, I guess dungeon synth is just kind of an electronic genre that was born out of black metal heads that were like, "Hey, we have this aggressive music. Let's make some not so aggressive music." And it's basically just medieval ambient Well, it can range from, I guess, medieval ambient to just, like, true, like, dark ambient. Like you could even go so far as to say as, like, some of those Venteraket records are, like, almost noise.
Yeah. No, I mean, it really is a horrific genre name.
Yeah.
Like, I know metalheads will meme about stuff like grindcore or like black metal because they don't really mean anything.
Yeah.
But holy shit, dungeon synth is such an utterly meaningless term because, you know, I've been working my way through the Mew approved Dungeon Synth December 2020 list, and some of these records range from like chaotic black metal all the way to like Eno-esque ambient loops with like medieval stuff in the background, and it's really bizarre. Like in particular, the record by Ildjarn, Seven Harmonies of Unknown Truth. It's literally the solo project of Samoth of Emperor, and it just sounds like even lower fi Emperor with like a little bit of war metal influence. And I don't understand how that is right next to like Thulian Mysteries by Burzum.
Right. Yeah, no, it's kind of confusing, but all the same, it's a very vast genre, and there is a lot to explore. A lot of it's bad, a lot of it's, in my opinion, pretty good, but you just kind of got to find what your style of dungeon is.
Yeah, I mean, I think like the well composed, interesting like ambient loops, like it can be done well, and there are definitely some bands that I've checked that do it well. But I feel like a lot of it, and especially some of like the lower fi 90s stuff with you know, tribal elements, enchanted vocals, just kills me. It's
I get that.
It just strikes me as so dumb and so like, I guess, meaningless. And I know that might hurt some of our true cult listeners out there, but it's so non-interesting. I understand the point of like ambient as a genre and like dark wave and all the things that go along with it. It's not to be the most engaging minute listen, but I feel like some of the longer form dungeon synth really pushes against this.
No, I can agree with that. For example, that new Burzum album, from this year, very much so does that.
Oh my god. Thulian Mysteries is unlistenably boring. Like, oh my god, I found very, very little to enjoy in this record.
But
I mean, there are some great records. I really enjoyed the Isegrim and Ornitest split, the Nameless King album. I liked honestly, I kind of like Venteraket.
No, dude, Venteraket is good.
Is he a Nazi?
No comment. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't.
I just kind of get the feeling that he is.
I don't want to make any assumptions, but the music is absolutely chilling. Yeah,
I also I really enjoyed the Mist of Darkness work, the Lightless Lands, even though that's an explicitly Nazi record. I liked the Conjured to Baphomet demo, and the Arcana Liturgia record, MCC XXXI. And so all that stuff's cool. Dishonorable mention to Svan TV with The Return of the Ancient Slav, which features some actually explicitly anti-white, anti-Christian sentiments that you could call Nazism, and that was very uncomfortable for me to listen to. Not a fan. But I don't know, Dungeon Synth's bizarre genre. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a Dungeon Synth cast at the end of December.
Yeah, I think,
or like as the 5th week.
Right.
So
I think it's a good idea. There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah. So, but I'm listening to a lot of that, and it sucks.
Speaking of dark wave, new Black Wing, No Moon.
Dan Heckin Barrett himself.
Have you listened to that Black Wing record? Yeah.
Yeah, it's on my Topster.
Okay. It is on your Topster. What do you?
It's not even a Topster. It's a collage. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think? I personally, pretty big fan.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like, I mean, obviously we like Have a Nice Life and Dan Barrett's offshoots, and this is like jazz core with Lursynth.
Yeah.
Jazz core with new wave influence. It's done well. Lyrics are good. It sounds good. Like, I love Dan's performances.
I thought the singles were kind of campy at first, but I feel like they really do represent the album well, especially when there's a lot of the tracks that just completely defy expectations. Like Vulnerable, which is literally starting off as a harsh noise track.
Yeah, totally. When I heard that in the track list, I was like, whoa, this is nice.
So, like, I think it is pretty heckin' interesting to hear that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're Dan Barrett fans, and we're sort of this hard audience, but it's definitely well done. I'm a big fan. The aesthetics of the thing work. It flows well, has nice peaks and valleys, and the track listing has bangers, has harsh noise moments, and just that general like have a nice life vibe that all of us mutants go bananas for.
I think this is probably the closest anyone has gotten. Obviously, it is his other project, but like, if anyone was trying to recreate Have a Nice Life, this would be a very good example of that. Because I feel like a lot of the tracks here do reflect the diversity of stuff like The Unnatural World or Death Consciousness.
Yeah, no, I agree. It bounces between a bunch of different things, and it has a real reliance on synth and drum loops, which basically every track on Death Consciousness does, finds itself in some position.
Yeah. Ominous 808 shocked the hell out of me. Was not expecting Dan Barrett with the rap.
No, I agree.
But it came out.
But if you feel like these atoms are lost, then this will be a good album.
Yeah.
Would recommend.
Yeah. What else?
Gosh, now I just have deep stuck in my head.
Yeah. In bigger and broader news, the new seeing as both have been extremely positively reviewed online, I have personally taken it upon myself to listen to the new Avalanche's record and Ichiko Aoba, I think. No, I don't know how to say that.
It's Aoba.
Ichiko Aoba records. And I actually preferred Avalanche's a little bit. I think that the Ichiko needs, for me, a little time to breathe. Because I just can't... Like, it is literally kind of the same song for, I don't know, an hour. And there's nothing wrong with that, but, like, I did feel that, like, it was kinda very samey throughout the whole thing. And that's not a bad
But
thing.
Anthony Fantano gave it a 9 out of
Anthony Fantano did give it a 9, and maybe it's just because my chamber pop influence is not there. I have no clue what I'm getting into, so I think I need to dive into it a few times. It's also a very dense record, so I can understand, why I might not have been too much of a fan of it. But definitely some strong work from extremely talented groups. The Avalanche's record, We Will Always Love You, has a lot of cool features, does some really cool musical stuff, and yeah.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about the Avalanche's one. The Ichika Aoba one seems to be getting a decent amount of backlash and seems to be heralded as overrated in a lot of the circles I frequent, but I'm sure it's good.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't, on my first listen, have given it a 9. I wouldn't.
Gotcha.
I would have probably given it a strong 6, to be honest.
Ooh.
Not coming at him like that, but, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I have to listen to them myself. I'm sure I'd enjoy both of them. Good
Right.
music's good music.
Mm-hmm. Good music is good music. And with that, I think we're going to talk about some music here on the podcast, because it's our...
Absolutely smooth transition.
So, where do we want to start, Sam? We could start with our popular stuff and go into our personal stuff, or we could do the vice versa. We already...
Let's start with the popular stuff.
We did start with the that Enslaved record, which none of us were too big fans of. So it makes sense to start there.
All right. Now we're just gonna go through a series of albums I assume neither of us have never listened to, or listened to only once or twice, and then dunk on them. So let's start off with the Catatonia record, City Burials.
I did listen to City Burials once.
I listened to this album once.
Yeah,
oh my god!
No,
not
I
a
couldn't
fan.
even get through it. I couldn't. It is painful to listen to. Like, it is unbearably boring. And the croon is so unbelievably cheesy. There's nothing I want here. It's not even like the instrumentation is good. It's really sparse and like made to build this like alt metal atmosphere that just it doesn't culminate. It doesn't.
I feel ya. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound like a boomer here, but I remember when Catatonia were a metal band.
No, seriously.
I mean, isn't this like their third album in the art rock vein or whatever?
I think it's their third or second. I can't remember.
I don't know. I feel like the other ones were better. Because, like, it's not like a band can make... Yeah, like, I guess, like... Actually, I was going to say Oliver, but we both hate the new Oliver album. The Contortionist. Bands can make transitions to non-metal sounds and pull it off well, and this album just kind of sucks. Has none of the charm of their early work, has none of the maturity of their mid-period. The songs don't feel very developed. It's annoying. It's a little cringy. It's a little cheesy, and the distinct mellow death melodies that have sort of carried their whole career are just nowhere to be found here.
Mm-hmm. It's honestly kind of disappointing because a band with such influence and have been doing so much for so long, you kind of expect it for them to at least kind of perform, and I don't feel. I don't feel that here in anything.
What the heck, Catatonia?
But we're not going to rat on Catatonia that long.
Yeah, we got to rat on what the Dead Men Say by Trivium.
I didn't actually listen to that record, but you know what? I have faith that Matt Heafy and the boys made a competent record. Even if I wouldn't have liked, have liked it, I bet it's competent.
You know what? You're probably right. I mean, yeah, Matt Heafy and the boys really, like, they know what they're doing. They have a pretty solid record, but pretty solid back catalog. Well, sorry, 1 second. I'm just Googling something so I don't sound dumb when I mention this. But their record from 2017, the Sin in the Sentence, is like beloved. People go bananas for that record. It's a good album. Super positively reviewed. And I haven't seen this album mentioned once anywhere. Literally nowhere on the internet.
And I think I saw reviews for it, but I wasn't interested enough to read it, and I think that shows.
Yeah, I mean, I think a bit like for a band as large as Trivium, when you just kind of hear radio silence for the rest of the year regarding a record which is following up a critically beloved work, that's never a good sign. And like, I watch a fair amount of guitar YouTubers that go bananas for Trivium. They absolutely love them. Huge Matt Heafy fans, and not even they've mentioned this record. So if that says anything.
Not good. Actually, can you send me that list? That I don't know what list you're looking at, but
I literally Googled metal albums 2020.
All right, fair enough.
And not using Quora or Opera, but Google. Up next, since we don't have much to say about that, I got to bring up S&M 2, Metallica and the San Francisco Symphony Orchestra.
I didn't listen to that record either, but I can also assume that it's fine.
Adam, I've listened to this record like halfway through once. Google the track list for S&M 1 and then Google the track list for S&M 2.
That's not a good sign.
It is hysterical.
Okay, hold on. I gotta...
Like, this album, don't get me wrong, Metallica with an orchestra, it's a cool idea. Like, the original S&M was cool. This album just did not need to be made. It had no reason to be made. Half the songs were literally performed on S&M 1, and the ones that weren't are just kind of shitty B-sides from their later career.
Yeah, I can see that now.
Yeah, it's hysterical. Half the track list was literally already done, and the other half of the list is like Escape.
Yeah, I mean, Metallica doesn't need to make any more music, but for whatever reason they continue to. And you gotta give it to those old heads for keeping with it, but like at the same time, no. Yeah,
it's like what's that nostalgia critic bit where like someone asks, "Why'd they make this?" and then Doug says, "Money."
Yeah.
Like, we're not a big fan of Tig with Tig over here, and we definitely condemn the later actions. But like, that's a funny
Speaking
bit.
Of money. AC/DC, Ozzy Osbourne, AC/DC. Let's have a conversation.
I mean, I haven't heard once again, like, I feel like it's sort of telling when a band, like, one of the all-time most popular metal hard rock acts of all time releases a record, and I hear nothing about it ever. And like, I feel like we generally keep our ears to the ground.
Oh yeah.
And so if we're not hearing about Ozzy Osbourne's 87th album when I thought he had like polio and was dying, or like AC/DC's album when like Brian Johnson literally quit the band.
Mm.
Like, Jesus Christ. Why
don't
are
know.
these bands still making music?
They want to make money, man. They're probably trapped into these big record contracts that they just can't break out of, too.
Totally. And also COVID.
And COVID.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Ozzy canceled like a giant world tour
I'm sure.
this year.
Yeah, because
like it
was the end tour.
His like 4th year of the last world tour or something.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's like this stuff's like beyond parody.
Oh, seriously.
Speaking of beyond parody, all right, honestly, Curse the Crystal Coconut's grown on me.
No, don't even. That is heresy.
Tortuga.
In every regard. New Ailstorm album is not good, no matter who tells you what or what for. No. I cannot find a single excuse for anyone in 2020 to be listening to Ailstorm seriously. Or even as a joke.
Wow, I didn't realize you hated fun, Adam.
That's what.
No, sorry.
That's what.
Let me find the Toilet of Hell review for Ailstorm, because it is the single best like Ailstorm takedown take I've seen on the internet.
I totally believe it. Like there is so much more they could do with music. There is so much more. They're talented musicians. They know their way around their instruments. Yet they choose to make that. Like, I can't explain it. What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which gets us to how stale this material is. While a hokey folk power metal band may have been fun once or twice, this is Ailstorm's 6th album, spanning over 12 years and 4 splits and EPs thrown in between. The type of thing has the shelf life of room temperature milk, and the spoiled, curdled stench permeates every minute of this record.
I mean, I like Fucked With An Anchor. It's a funny tune. It's even Tortuga is like, you know what? Like, fuck it, dude. There's 808s in my metal, but
honestly, Tortuga's probably the best song. No, gosh, sorry. What's the last song? Woodenhead.
Woodenhead Part 2 is actually a good song. Where they actually play their instruments the way they're supposed to be played. They're doing it right. No, but seriously, I don't know. I can't get behind the gimmick when the gimmick is everything. Because at least Ghost tries to even have a semblance of songwriting. Like, at least in the beginning, and I'm not going to say anything about this situation more than I have, but, like, that first Ghost album, that second Ghost album, even Meliora is, like, that's actual music with a gimmick thrown on top of it.
Yeah, whereas Ailstorm is just, they are the gimmick.
Yeah, they're the gimmick, and that's...
And, like, I mean, we'll probably link the Toilet of Hell article, because it's a wonderful takedown. But, like, you really can only do this for so long, and this is their 6th album, and it is so stale. Every song is basically identical, and it stopped being funny 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That being said, I mean, I don't know. This whole album fucking rips.
Stop.
Adam, we are only here to get drunk, have fun, and make loads of money.
That's what I'm hearing my metal for. That's why our year end of list is just half black metal, but yeah.
Yeah, we say that as like we pick like the most taste made, critically acclaimed picks for our top 10. Yeah, at the end we should talk about a few lists that have come out and comparing them, because I'm sure there's some nice meta analyses.
Well, we haven't fully released ours yet. There's still room for movement.
For, would you say, broken movements? Warm Boris are underrated.
Yes, they are.
Do you know what band isn't underrated? Marilyn Manson.
No.
Actually, today I woke up at 3 a.m. for zero reason, and as I was laying in bed wishing to go back to sleep, for some reason I found a video of Marilyn Manson performing in 1992.
Now, why would you do that? Actually, I'm sure that's pretty entertaining.
Well, it was great. It was really fun. He was dressed up in like a Willy Wonka costume. He had all these effects. He was being super edgy on stage.
I mean, I remember when we saw Manson live, and he was just a train wreck. I mean, we had fun because we were like 15, but he was a mess.
Yeah. Oh my
He was
god.
a mess.
Yeah. Gosh, I still
I
remember
know.
that. But yeah, I mean, me and Adam have never really been huge Manson fans. Like people always say when I say, yeah, I don't really like Manson, they tell you, have you listened to the whole trilogy? And I
Yep.
say, yeah.
Yes.
Like, I've listened to Antichrist Superstar, Mechanical Animals, and Hollywood. And I just the music does nothing for me. Like, I'm a prog head. I like noise, like black metal, and Marilyn Manson, pulling the shock rock shtick across 8 hours of fairly dull like concept album with like alt metal industrial tinge. It just doesn't do anything for me. And I'm just gonna take a wild guess here and assume that We Are Chaos doesn't do too much new.
I would be willing to bet.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just gonna go and rate your music, and I know rate your music has this bias, but it's generally good to check like where an album sits in the catalog.
I haven't done that. I'm sure it's like not the worst rated thing ever, but I'm sure it's not good either.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 2008 record. Just all right. So We Are Chaos is. Let's see. It is right smack dab in the middle of his discography.
Well, in that case, whatever, man.
Perfectly mediocre, as all things should be.
Like, good.
Manson, like, just take like a 10-year break. Don't release music for a little bit. Like, you don't need to do anything more.
No, he doesn't, but it's fine.
Let's see. I also, I feel like we could just be dunking on mainstream picks for years, but
we could switch.
I'll save.
No, well, you could say I don't know what you have.
I have a couple more I want to touch upon. I feel like this is just an unofficial hating on the ocean show, but I mean,
we don't hate the ocean. We just like don't. We're not listeners. We're not ocean fans. And that's all.
Dude,
it comes
like
down to.
in like 1 month, I'm gonna be sitting in my room in global U.S. lockdown, listening
Phanerozoic 1 and 2.
And I'll be like, Adam, this is the best music I've ever heard in my life.
Bingo.
But I don't know, Phanerozoic 2. Apparently, it's not as good as the first one.
It's not. Oh.
So yeah, we hate the ocean. And finally, the last one I want to mention. Actually, I'll mention two more ones. One meme one. Danzig sings Elvis. Didn't Fantano give this a 0? Yeah, enough said. Why'd you do it? Why'd you do it, Danzig? And I'll close things off with Umbra Vitae, because this album rips, but it doesn't rip as hard as it should.
It doesn't. I reviewed it for the blog, as you may have remembered. Oh no, I didn't.
I don't know, dude.
I didn't review it, but we did like that week back in I don't remember when.
Oh gosh, was that May?
It was like May or something. It was in some.
Dude, honestly, that feels like last decade.
No, seriously. But it was one of the mini reviews that we had alongside like Tuscoma. You even put I think
Fonge.
Yes, Fonge.
Havoc.
Oh, by the way, where's that record?
Dude,
where's that record in the end of the year?
Honestly, why don't we put Fonge in one of our honorable mentions?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. But Fonge Perdure and the EP that followed it, very good. Highly recommend. But good transition, because we can start with one of our first picks for our honorable displeasures for the year.
You mean disappointments of the year?
Yeah. Well, whatever. Havoc's V. Let's just start off with the title. Come on. Come on, man. Like David DeSanto is one of the... Even if the lyrics are as Megadeth as they get, like, his lyricism's pretty good. Like, he does a good job being a thrash vocalist and lyricist. And V? Where's the significance? Not conspiranoia. What's the name of the other Havoc album? I can't remember.
Conformicide?
Conformicide. That's it. Conformicide. Last Truth. Ah, crap.
Post-Truth era.
Yeah, post-truth.
Oh my god, yeah,
No.
like I ripped up the Genius because like the don't. I actually kind of I think I like this album more than you. I actually really like this album. I think it's solid, but oh my god, the lyrics, the cringe dial is at 30. It.
Oh no, I can. All right, so hold on. I want to say I re-listened to all these records that we're going to be talking about now. I did. I re-listened to them in the last week.
Impressive.
I had to, and I agree with you. I don't think this album's that bad. But yes, oh man, cringe inhibitors off the charts.
Yeah, like let's just read through the chorus. Post-truth era, complex mind control. Don't trust your eyes. Unlearn what you think you know.
There's a level of subtlety that was just thrown out the window on stuff like, even like with Conformicide, you know, you had like choruses like, I don't know.
The enemy is not coming from overseas.
All right, the lyrics have never not been blatant, but the imagery, I think overall on albums like Conformicide and Time Is Up is just better. Like, even like Circling the Drain is like decent imagery, you know? Or like,
but Adam, dude, they use fear to control you.
Or like pieces and pieces. Like you have the alliteration there, and that works. But yeah, no, I agree. It's just kind of cringe. And oh man,
gosh, dude, like
we've talked about this before, but Don't Do It should not exist.
Wait, but Adam, you're telling me that you don't think that nature has the answers and the system has the lies?
No, I don't. Oh, that's a real line, isn't it? Oh.
Yeah, dude. No, like this. I mean, I don't think Don't Do It's a bad closer.
Lyrics are cringe. The 8-minute acoustic outro is kind of cringe. I know it's not fully acoustic, but most of it is.
Adam just doesn't like anti-suicide messaging. Wow.
I just think it needs to be done tastefully, and when you're Logic and Havoc, you don't do it well. Because like I don't know. Like,
gosh, dude, I like just mentioning those. Suddenly, I have some of these choruses in my head, and like, oh my god, it's hysterical.
Phantom Force, though. No, I will agree that song rips. Like,
dude, this album kind of rips.
No, this album does kind of rip. Havoc is the best.
I can't wake up.
Havoc is the best modern thrash metal band. I said it.
You can't. No, Adam, you can't say that. No,
I said it because the only other option we're not allowed to talk about until they make their resurgence. So that's all.
Havoc were better than Megadeth ever was. Change my mind. Megadeth has like 0.5 good albums. Change my mind.
I won't argue that.
That actually, one of these days, I have a friend who's like knows thrash metal way better than he should, and one of these days we'll have to get him on here to debate.
We will do
Megadeth.
We will do a thrash cast with the thrash aficionados, because I don't know. I really don't know if we can take much under the aficionado card other than maybe prog, but even then, I feel like we're kind of out of the loop. We're
definitely jack of all trades.
Yeah, we're over
when it comes to metal.
That's okay.
Speaking of jack of all trades, I'm sorry.
All right, what do you got?
I was gonna say Together to the Stars.
All right.
Actually, Igor. Igor's the better transition.
Yeah. Speaking of something completely out there and not metal. So
yeah, this Igor album's really underwhelming.
It's just so. I wanted Savage Sinusoid 2, and we got the farthest thing from that. Like, the metal's turned up on this album, the cheese is turned up on this album, even the Middle Eastern, like thematics on the record, I feel like are a little much and kind of a little campy. But the thing that I think is most disappointing about this whole album is that, like, there's one actual breakcore song, and it's very noise, and that song is less than two of a 55-minute record. 2 minutes is like real breakcore.
I feel like this album doesn't really have any highlights. Like, Savage Sinusoid, it was a little on the longer side, but like basically every track had a really memorable moment. And this record, like looking back, I can't think of a single melody except for the Corpse Grinder feature, which is like arguably the worst moment on the record.
The back half has more of what I wanted Igor to become, but it's still not there. It's
yeah,
just
no,
not
I
there.
agree. And I don't know. I feel like if I listen to this album a bunch, I'd probably enjoy it a little more.
A lot, though.
And I mean, it does have bangers.
The problem is it's been revered because I think it became more metal, and everyone was like, "Oh, bro, look at this weird experimental metal thing. We gotta rate this highly because it's so freaking out there. Operatic vocals."
Well, I think it became more revealed because it was on Metal Blade.
No, but
so
Savage
Singer
Sword was on Metal Blade.
What? Really?
Yes.
No way. I don't buy it.
Mm-hmm. That's the weird thing. Is they got cleaner with age. Igor got cleaner with maturity.
Oh my god, it was on Metal Blade. What?
Mm-hmm. No, seriously, the transition. You said it yourself, 8 months ago, and you were like, they needed to put out an album, and they were like, you need to make it twice as long because money.
Did I say that?
And
I don't know.
You did say that, and I mean, it's not far from the truth because there are 7-minute tracks on this release where Igor has never branched that far into let's be honest. I love Igor, but that music does not stretch that far. It shouldn't.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, and I feel like if they took the best ideas from all of these tracks and just condensed it into a 25-minute record, it'd be really good. Because there are moments of brilliance here. There are memorable parts. It sounds good, performances are good, and a lot of the songs are good. It's just it's way too long for its own good. I don't want to listen to an hour of variations of wacky metal breakcore, except done strictly worse than their previous two efforts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we love you, Igor, but dial it back a little bit. Yeah. And this is I don't know, maybe if they had a grand statement of, oh, this is going to be a big double album feature thing. But no, it's just a standard release. And with that standard release, it's just underwhelming.
Never signed a Metal Blade, kids.
Never signed a Metal Blade.
They'll push that 2-year contract into the goddamn grave.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of 2-year contracts into the grave, I'm trying to think of any of these
Idols.
that really fit. Well, I don't know. But let's talk about Idols, now that you've brought it up. I re-listened to this one too, and you know what? I have a hot take. I have a reduction of our old take that I'd like to put out.
Sure.
I think the singles ruin this album, and I'll give you a reason why. I don't think the overall song quality is bad. I actually think it's pretty good. I re-listened to tracks like Model Village, and I was like, you know what? If this wasn't a single, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm impressed. Because, that's how I felt with War. When you go right into this album and War's the first track, you're like, where'd this come from, Idols? This is what I want my Idols to be. Even, Anxiety, same thing. Carcinogenic, the closing track. These are actual Idols tunes that are bogged down because of singles like A Hymn, Model Village, Mr. Motivator, and we stand ground, so that's fine.
Yeah,
but
we stand. Well, okay. Let me articulate this in I think a way that makes a little more sense.
Sure.
I think this record is pretty solid, but it's a series of expectations overshadowing the work. Because with Brutalism and with Mother Heckin'
Joy,
Joy's an Act as Resistance. Those records stand immensely tall on their own for a lot of different reasons. This record, I feel like if you just go into this with no expectations, it's pretty solid, energetic pop punk with a very direct message. But with the weight of the previous Idols records and all that thematic heft, it just doesn't live up to those expectations.
I still can't. Yeah,
because I like Model Village.
I do too.
I think it rips. I like Mr. Motivator. I think it rips. I think there's one bad song in this record and one mess song in this record. And if you take those out, it's a hard 7.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And honestly, watching the interviews and reading stuff about excuse me. The record, the band, they're not dumb. And watching the guitarist and like lead songwriter talk about like, it was very hard for them he said like he was constantly fighting back and saying, all right, we're going to make this record as direct as possible. And it's going to be cringy. It's not going to have the depth of our previous works, but that's the point. And like with that in mind, I think works quite well.
Yeah.
And it took that context for me to sort of enjoy the record more.
I completely agree. It's some of these tracks, like even like Rains, which is like a really straightforward, like
pulling my
like it's the most direct track on the record. Like it has like 3 lines of actual words.
Pulling my
but like it rips. That chorus goes so hard.
Yeah, no, Joe Talbot's like, the signature like Cockney punk gruff, but like it works so well, and this whole record does honestly work quite well.
It is just a shame.
And if him had a better climax,
if him had a climax,
if him had a climax and Natouche Palmois was just like not cringe, the record would be great.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, like I know I said it before, but I would go ham to.
Oh yeah, no, without a doubt. I mean, I fully expect to go nuts to like Mata Village in the pit, like as much as I should.
Or even Mr. Motivator.
Yeah.
You can do it! Like, imagine screaming that.
Yeah.
Like, in a pit. Probably awesome.
All right.
Yes, you can.
Moving on a little bit. What do we got? We want to jump to something completely different or stay within the same vein, which we can't really do. So, let's get all the non-metal out of the way. 100 Gex and the Tree of Clues.
This album is really weird because this album simultaneously fulfills a lot of what I'd want a Gex remix album to be.
Yes.
Well, not being what I want Gex to release.
No, I don't want this album. I don't. It's not necessary. Like, I want original Gex bangers. And frankly, hearing each one of these tracks twice gets boring. It does.
No, I agree. Like, part of the brilliance of 1000 Gex is it's 19 minutes, and every minute counts, and all the tracks are perfect. They're like delectable slices of hyperpop that function perfectly in context. And so when you take that, like, because all these songs are like a minute and a half. So when you take that context and play them twice and have one version just be strictly worse, because that's just the way remix covers work, it really just, it almost exposes certain flaws in the original songwriting that you just never would have seen. And like, there are bangers here. Like, I love the Fall Out Boy remix, like the Ringtone remix, like the Black Dresses remix. Like, they're all good. They're just, it feels so unnecessary and so padded. Like, this really feels.
It's also,
I'm gonna burp. Sorry
to interrupt as your burp. It's so jarring to hear these songs out of context and in their like hearing.
I fully agree.
Even hearing like Ringtone so far early in the track list, I'm like, this is wrong. Like, I think I might have scored this album a little higher if they even just put it in order.
Honestly, I kind of agree.
If they put it in order, I think I might have enjoyed it a little more.
Well, to finish my... Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you again. To finish my point, I just say, like this record, I know we're talking about the failures of late-stage capitalism in the music industry a lot here in this show. Like, this record feels like a money grab. Like, it... obviously, 100 Gex were way, way, way bigger than anyone expected them to be. And it seems like they also happen to collaborate well and have a lot of good friends. And personally, I'd rather see them just like, I don't know, release this on SoundCloud or release this as a bunch of singles, because it doesn't deserve to be an album. Like, part of what makes 1000 Gex so great is how succinct of a statement it is. And so pulling all these songs out of context and just throwing on big names because they can, it lacks a punch, and it feels very corporate, for lack of a better term.
You're not Health. You haven't been in the game for 20 plus years in order to warrant something like this.
Yeah, like the 1000 Gex came out of nowhere, and it was awesome, and so many people that never would have listened to the music love it, like us. And so to just sort of ride that momentum with what seems like a blatant cash grab, it kind of hurts. But at the same time, like, these original songs are so good. They function so well that even
I don't actually know about that, but different conversation.
Wait, you don't
'Cause
you don't think
I
1000
don't
Gex is a good album?
Oh no, I thought you meant no. I'm sorry. I thought you meant the originals on this record.
Oh
'Cause
no
I am
no
not a
no
fan
no!
of the
I meant the
on this
originals
record.
from the original.
Gotcha.
Sorry, the original songs from 1000 Gex are so unbelievably solid and are
Yes.
so perfect that it almost feels like bad for them to like spit in the legacy like less than a year after it comes out. It does. It's just this album is very unwarranted. Like release these on SoundCloud or on YouTube or whatever. I don't want to hear a full major label release as the follow up to 1000 Gex, which is the best album of the past 30 years.
Right. Right. But yeah, I don't think there's too much to say else because, like, we've said it. These songs are good. They're performed well by everyone on there. I don't think there's a real bad remix here. But
yeah, I don't really like the first Stupid Horse remix, but
I gotta see who did that. I don't even know. Is that the foreign guy? Like the hype guy?
Yeah.
I don't know. I get a laugh out of that every time I hear it.
No, I mean, look, it's great because the song's great, but it's not warranted.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing isn't warranted. And by the way, these songs aren't originals. They're just repackaging old content.
True.
It's cool to see the Fish Center versions on the record because for whatever reason, like they work so well. Like the Gex live recordings are great.
I agree. But yeah, so Tree of Clues, we just kind of wish it didn't exist, but it's not bad. What we don't think, I don't know. I don't think any of these other records we're going to talk about are necessarily bad except for one.
All right, let's get that one out of the way.
Well, I fucking hate this Turia album, dude. I'm sorry.
Dude, what?
I can't get behind Degen Van Leekt. There is two songs. No, 2.5. You have Marode, you have Ossifrage, and Storm needs to be longer. And that's it. Because the title track does nothing. There are 2 fucking interludes, which have no place on the record, and Met Sterven Beboet is forgettable. I'm not changing my opinion.
I was just going to say, because, I mean, spoiler alert for later in the convo. When Stereo Gums, the Black Market, puts an album in their top 10, we gotta bow down. And they put Turia in their top 10.
I'm not bowing down.
And
I can't to this record.
Dude, I re-listened to this album and it was way better than I remembered. No. It's a comprehensive atmospheric black metal experience that touches upon all of the elements of the genre I want to hear. It's spooky, it's aggressive, it's calm, it's melodic, it's foreboding, it's ethereal, and it's gorgeous. It flows beautifully and it captures the absolute romantic sublimity of atmospheric black metal.
Look, man, maybe that's all good and well. But there comes a point when songwriting is important. And when you're not Paysage d'Hiver, when you're Turia, who put out Dead Condor and De Ord with Louis Struars, like, I expect there to be good, rememberable melodic chops. I don't remember any of the melodies on this record other than on Marode. And that one's just unforgettable.
I'm throwing my hands up.
I can't. They're so forgettable. Nothing happens with the tracks. Nothing. They don't even build. The climaxes are a stop and a continue. With like a different lead line. Like that's not it for me. You need to explode to be a real climax. Or at least you need to be more intense than you were. And Turia does not do that. They keep that.
I mean, I think you're expecting different things out of this project. Like this album, it's like a river. See what I did there? Like it's all about the flow more than anything else. And from start to finish, it's an orgasmic experience that really captures like the best of the genre.
I'm gonna go through and go to my Turia review, and I'm gonna read some parts of it that I still think hold pretty true to this day, because
Also, it
all right.
sounds
While
great.
not completely deserting their sound, it seems like they're diving headfirst into the soupy, swirling trance music that bands like Mazartham kill, all while replacing synthesizers with monotonous guitar loops. The first two real songs are bangers. The rest fall the rest fall beneath the reverb to just be forgotten until the next good black metal album rolls around. Now, that's a little harsh. I will say this album's a tiny bit better than I give it credit for. But, like, seriously, I don't think the early cut, or the mid cuts on this record warrant their length. Metsterven Bebelet and the title track don't deserve their length. Storm deserves more time in the sun, and frankly, so does Marode. And
I think they're great. I think the whole album, like, I think the two tracks that you don't really like, you know, sure they're simple in scope, but they take one melodic idea and just stretch it across 9 minutes in a really clever way that doesn't feel forced.
Well, fine. If I can't excuse that, I can absolutely dig on the end interlude. And this album's 45 minutes. And it's not hard to get through. It's an easy listen. I don't think you need the interludes there. I don't.
I think they work well, actually.
Adam hates interludes and intro tracks.
Well, look, these aren't... Okay, look, Adam, if these were piano interludes, I'd be like, I rate them, right? But they're not. They're guitar feedback interludes that flow perfectly into the next song. So I can't fault that.
Then why don't they make one song?
For streaming purposes.
Okay, but I don't excuse that. You gotta have some balls.
Not actually. But I mean, because if you want to listen to them out of context...
No, I agree.
I think this is a good use of interludes, especially in black metal, because I was expecting, like, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, and, like, it also breaks up the track list in a clever way.
I'm not a fan of Degen Van... Well, alright. I won't say I'm not a fan, but this is not what I wanted out of the Turia album, and... Maybe I'm a Flui Storage stan now. I said it.
That's it. Which shirt should I wear? Fleury Storage or Deturia for today?
Or Deturia for today. No, I don't know. I expected too much from Daord, I think. I didn't get what I wanted after Daord came out. Because they changed up their sound. And while that might not be a bad thing, it might be a good thing, it didn't vibe with me. Maybe I still need to give this album more time, 9 months after it was released. But I don't think so.
Bro, the baby changed up his flow. I like this album. Do you know what post black metal album I'm not a huge fan of, though?
That Together to the Spars album?
Yeah.
I will also say that I wouldn't say I'm not a fan, but I will not listen to this over an Oblivion Above any day of the week. I'm gonna listen to those tracks so much higher than these ones. Not that there's anything wrong with these, and the singles are great. Respire and Wither are bangers, and the last track, Endeavor, also stunning. Bioluminescence is just too cringe to like ignore and through like that. It just throws you for such a loop.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like as a post-hardcore scream apologist. Even this is a little much.
It's a little.
And I will say though, like I mean, like you said, the like there are like 3 or 4 amazing songs here. I just wish the whole thing was that good. Like this album's probably like a 3
out of 5.
Yeah, like using the AMG scale, 3.0.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Oh, it's like a 6. It's not bad. It's honestly quite good. And if you cut the filler and replace them with like some stronger tunes, it'd be great. And it still has like the melodic core that made their first record so enticing.
Yeah. I do think though that the length on those tracks helped, and they're not too different than here. But like I do kind of wish that there was some more 10-minute tracks in this one, because like Wither has an awesome build. And, you know, it's reflective of those first couple of tracks on An Oblivion Above.
Yeah, I mean,
from last year.
I don't know. I think some of that, like, this album's very different than Oblivion Above. It's much, much, much more screamo influenced and sort of leaning into the shorter songwriting or that style of songcraft, which is fine. It's just not what I prefer when it comes to black gaze, because I'm a metal kid.
Certainly, yeah, exactly. That's what it comes down to. Like, I think the screamo and the post-hard kids, they might love this record a lot more than an Oblivion Above. But for us Metal Brotherhood, we have a very clear preference.
Hell, it's way better than the Unrequited record.
That is true. Together to the Stars is still one of the best black gaze acts out there, and definitely one that people should know about, including with this record. And they're completely independent still. So, like, they need all the love they can get.
Does this record also have drum machines?
No. But I don't think the first one did either.
No, the first record has drum machines.
It is drum machines? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I would...
Program drums, I should say.
They didn't change, so I would say that probably it is still drum machine.
Well, in that case, these are some phenomenally programmed drums.
They do sound a lot better than that first
record.
Like,
honestly, the snare tone is, like, the one complaint I have with their first record.
Yeah, it is very bouncy, very bong.
Very triggered.
Yeah, very triggered. Anyway.
Speaking of getting triggered.
Speaking of long-form music, Elder.
I think I like this album, too. I think you're a little harsh on it.
I think I was a little harsh on it as well, but I still think that, wow, it's a step down from Gold and Silver Sessions and Reflection.
I agree. Well, it's just very different. Like, I don't know. They picked up a fourth member and made a very clear shift towards, like, writing alt rock hooks. And
yeah,
I mean, as someone who has, like, literally a lore tattoo, like what makes, those previous, excuse me, I'm gonna burp. Should not have downed. Okay. Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
What made those records so engaging were their long-form songwriting and really expansive use of space and time, and I guess just sort of the vastness of the mix.
Yeah, sorry. And those albums capture like the absolute, high of a perfect jam sesh. Despite being tightly composed, you get the feeling that like the musicians are bouncing off each other through a combination of like tight chemistry and artistic ingenuity and making something truly phenomenal, complete with climaxes, solos, hooks, everything in between. And they're instrumental in scope.
By the way, I think Gold and Silver Sessions might be at least my favorite Elder album.
I'm a lore stan.
But I don't know. Dude, I mean, Gold and Silver Sessions is stunning.
Well, it's sort of telling that in Gold and Silver Sessions it's instrumental. Because, I mean, in this album, for better or for worse, Elder made the decision to really focus on the vocals as a primary instrument and to write clearer songs with them. Because, like, if you just cut the vocals out of this album, it's still, like, it's phenomenal. Instrumentals are complex. Sure, it's a little more straightforward, but it still has climaxes, solos, great jam sessions, riffs for days, psych for days, prog for days. It's great. It's really good. And the vocals themselves really aren't bad. Like, the melodies are super well written. It's just something about, like, the shitty Aussie impression just kills me.
It's so weird the way Elder has transitioned their vocal. It's so weird. I don't know what they're doing, but I don't know. I think it's fine. I think the vocals on this album aren't the worst. They're definitely not... Well, they absolutely are the worst aspect of the band, but they're not bad.
Yeah, like, I feel like if these vocals were on top of literally any other instrumentation, I'd shut it off. But,
oh, yeah.
I mean, Elder, at the end of the day, Elder are phenomenal at writing songs. And this record is immaculately composed and performed. It's just... Something feels off. It's not as expansive as their previous work. Like, I can still think of, like, moments from the previous records that just stick out as, like, I don't know, immense, massive sonic pieces, like Sanctuary. Like, I still think of that climax to this day. And, or like, Illusory Motion, like do 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 do. And Owens doesn't have as many of those. I
think you get them when you're listening to it, but not after. Like, because there are some awesome moments. Like the climax of Halcyon is really good.
Oh yeah, totally. Or like, yeah, or the I mean, I love In Procession, love Ember. Like this record's really solid. Like it sort of kills me that I don't like it more.
Yeah, it's just a little forgettable, is I think what it comes down to. It doesn't have the greatness that previous Elder records have had, but that's all right.
The grandeur,
The
if you will.
grandeur, and the only one that we have left is in the same variety, but a little different.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like Pallbearer, and Forgotten Days is
We
probably
talked about this a little before because we started this podcast around the time that this album came out, and I don't know. There's some great tracks here. Like, seriously, Pallbearer continues to be a band that just has some songs that just, oh man, they work so much, and others that just get swept behind and just never come back.
yeah, no, like I feel like Riverbed sucks, whereas like a song like Silver Wings is like the best thing the band's
Seriously.
ever written. And I appreciate that they're willing to switch up their sound and go for more. Like normally when a band says, "Well, this is our most straightforward yet heavy release yet," it's easily their worst work.
Yeah.
Like that is a career killer in so many lights. But for Pallbearer Works, I honestly think this record's better than Heartless because I just don't like Heartless.
Wow, that's bold. I don't know if I'd go that far.
Well, I don't like Heartless.
I know.
I just don't like Pallbearer in general. Like I don't know why. I really should. But
The vocals that probably kill you.
not even like I don't mind. Like this is good Aussie worship, and it's competent instrumentation. They're good at songwriters. I don't know, something about like prog psych bluesy doom just doesn't do it for me. But I don't know. This record's just a little forgettable. Like it's not bad. It reviewed well. It did well. A lot of people like it. I like a lot of the songs, but
I do think that the forgetfulness is definitely something that works. I think you could I think you could easily throw Silver Wings or like Caledonia into our best songs of the year because like those songs just have such great moments of absolutely expansive songwriting and amazing climaxes. This band is a long songs band, and that's why the back half of Heartless is so strong. That's why the long songs on here are so... But, like, everything under 7 minutes is just like, okay, like, this is fine. This is fine doom metal. Not gonna remember it tomorrow. And I think that holds true for most of Pallbearer's work. Is unless they're topping, and I think it is that I think it is 7 minute mark because like I don't know, I'm going through Heartless and like Lie Survival, super emotive track, Dancing in Madness, Cruel Road, Heartless, A Plea of Understanding. Like those songs are draining
for survival.
It's so sad, and Silver Wings and Caledonia on this record are just heartbreaking. But that's it. Just those ones, no more. And
yeah, no, I agree.
That's unfortunately the issue with the Pallbearer record that I can see.
And I mean, I don't know. It sucks because like I feel like all these records are good in a lot of ways. They're just not as great as they should be. Or like, I mean, the bar just continues to rise. Like, I mean, if you look at our list, like we have 40 records, and I'd say all of them are better than these, and they're, I don't know, like these are all great records from bands that we like. So
it's hard because I really wanted to like that Together to the Stars album, and I really wanted to like that love that Turi album, love that Together to the Stars album. Even I wanted to like the Havoc album.
And like they all have great moments, and like I've listened to them a fair amount, but so I don't know.
Yeah, it's just something forgettable about them, or unforgettable about those other projects. And that's actually, what we should talk about, and that's not on our list, but we should mention, is Bell Witch. Because I think Bell Witch has a really nice example of this. Because, like, in the unpublished world of PMMetalGuide, in the far-off days of a Wix site gone awry, there is a list of the best albums of 2017. And Bell Witch's Mirror Reaper is number one, and I would arguably still hold that slot.
Actually, I found our ancient podcast where we talk about our albums of 2017, and it is really
It's
bad.
horrible.
It's
I
really bad.
I believe it.
I mean, if you guys think our levels of articulation are bad now, oh man.
Yeah, no. But I think that the collaboration with Aerial Ruin is great because they've done it so many times before. It's not like they're doing anything new, but they're focusing so much on the like the ambient folk that the Funeral Doom just gets lost a lot of the time. And we're metalheads, so we're gonna prefer that Funeral Doom sound. Whereas someone like my RYM indie friend would be like, "Oh, this is a great folk album. There's some awesome folk moments on here." But we're gonna trash on it because of that. So I don't know. I don't know how you feel about the Bellwitch record, but I think that it's hard. It's hard to top what we consider a masterpiece. Like, do you think 10 years down the line, or not 10 years, like 3 years down the line when the new Ulcerate album comes out, like, are we gonna think of it the same? Are we gonna have it hold such a similar vein of grandeur?
Well, no, I mean that's a really good point, because especially like with the list of disappointments, how much of that is like bias because the first works we heard with
No,
these artists
seriously,
are great.
It's all 90% of that is expectation.
Totally. Because, like, literally all these releases that we are sort of disappointed with have previous albums that we love. Like, for Igor, Savage Sinusoid was instrumental when it came to delving into weirder metal. Together the Stars, we banged, like, I listened to them, like, 30 times in 2019, their previous work. Idols, Joys and Active Resistance is, like, one of my favorite punk records ever. Same thing with Havoc's Conformicide, same thing with Elder, and even with Paul Bearer to a lesser extent. Like, all these records we had expectations for, whereas I feel like if we just went into them, we'd probably enjoy them a lot more.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
As far as the Bellwitch thing goes, I will say, I mean, I think 90% of people will say, So Below is the better side of Mirror Reaper.
Oh yeah.
And Searching for the Light.
Eric.
And then as we go towards the end of that song with the like, I don't know, but what makes Mirror Reaper so great, and like all Bellwitch's work, is like the contrast. And I will say, I think I think the Aerial Ruin Bellwitch split, or Stygian Bow, goes a little too hard into the folk, but I mean it's still really good. I think it still makes our list, and that says something. Remember when I think we literally missed Bellwitch 5 times?
What do you mean?
Like,
oh god. Oh yeah, no.
Like,
it's stupid.
It's stupid the amount of times we've missed Bellwitch playing in Boston.
Yeah, no, that is something that needs to be rectified.
Remember when they played with Primitive Man? Jesus.
I remember.
They played with Primitive Man, then they played with Yob. Then they played with, like, Sleep.
Maybe. I don't remember.
I
definitely remember Yob and Primitive Man.
And I think there was one more, and we were like, "Oh, we're not gonna go to that."
I think it was. Well, I think there was like some weird opening band, or like an opening band that we were like.
I think they were opening for like a band we weren't huge fans.
That's what I meant.
Adam's like, we gotta find out.
I gotta find out. I'm going at set list.
And of course, every time they play, only the best song of the past 10 years, Mirror Reaper. Gallows Hung.
We love Bellwitch. We mean no harm against Bellwitch. We just think that Stygian Bow is a little less of what we want in our Bellwitch.
But I mean, it's still made our top 40 in a year where there was fierce competition. So.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, I mean, do you have anything else you want to say on this subject?
I don't really have too many. I don't think I have any other personal topics, like albums that I kind of just didn't like. Well, not didn't like. I didn't like a lot of albums this year, but I don't know if there's any ones that really.
We should touch on Sumac.
Okay, but alright, fine. You can read the Sumac review, where I actually think I did a decent job going into why I was disappointed with that record. But we can talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Sumac the Great, like Aaron Turner, Brian Bell, and Baptist Bro can do no wrong.
Brian Yakishin. I think it's Yakishin.
That's a cool last name.
I've written.
But I don't know. So like, something that makes especially, gosh, why am I having trouble? Love and Shadow. So compelling is how within like these ridiculous jam sessions with very little direction, there are just these nuggets of incredibly potent melody or potent riff writing that sort of pierce through the blackness. And this record has that, but it feels a little meandery.
We're talking about May You Be Held, by the way. Dude, I honestly think if Two Beasts was on May You Be Held, I would.
So good.
Yeah. It's crazy the way that works because, like, I don't know. I think that the title track. Honestly, all the songs in that record are pretty good. Like, The Iron Chair is an awesome single. May You Be Held is just as expansive as Consumption, I think is the name of the track, is the fourth track. Is also awesome. I don't think Consumption's the correct name, but the name is escaping me. The last track is an instrumental track, is kind of interesting, but I also just wish that those two, The Iron Chair and that last track, were longer. I mean, you're Sumac. Like, I expect...
Well, I mean, they're also in between 20-minute long songs.
But Love and Shadow was all that.
Well,
not to hate.
Sorry, I had to remind myself what all the songs sound like. It's been a little bit since I listened to it.
It's consumed, not consumption. It's the fourth.
But sorry, I'll rephrase this. Like when I think of like the most memorable moments from Love and Shadow, it's like the stunning guitar like clean melodies that poke out of the darkness. Mm-hmm. Like in Addis Blade, we get the gorgeous like jazz part, and it's the same thing with basically every track on this record. In this record, this record, I am being very confusing. May You Be Held uses moments of like harsh noise to punctuate that darkness. Yeah. And it's effective, but it doesn't really embody that like gorgeous duality that I love about Sumac.
I agree. And I think that this is not a bad record by any means. I'd still probably rate it like an 8 because I just don't think Aaron Turner can do any wrong. Well, I won't say that, but I don't think Sumac can do any wrong. And I think that amongst all their projects, I don't think it's their worst. That's hard to say. Because I have a personal favoritism of What One Becomes, just because I've grinded that album to literal death. But, I mean, it's, a little disappointing, but still great. And I mean, I think that's it. I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, we should totally talk about the Stereo Gum list, because this is the holy grail of lists.
Alright, we can talk about this. Why not? Let's throw it on there.
I'll send you. Ooh, they just dropped their best hardcore albums of 2020.
Will Impenetrable Cerebral Fortress be on that list?
I mean, it's too mainstream, honestly.
I don't know. Oranzi Pazuzu's on Nuclear Blast.
I mean, actually, I was honest. So, I guess I'll start off by saying I was surprised by how like mainstream this list is. Normally, Stereo Gum tries to pick like more underground albums because they just sort of see like the larger releases as obvious. Because obviously, there's so much great like more popular underground metal, and that's sort of what we focus on too. But their list features Oranzi Pazuzu, Esok Trillium, Ulcerate, Krallis, Defeated Sanity, Havakrunu, Kataria,
yes, number
Spectral
4.
Lord, Mere Cognitum, and Eternal Champion. And
that's such a meme. I'm sorry, such a meme.
Oh no, it's hysterical. It's hysterical. Well, it's funny because I think it was the Black Market for November, October. I don't know. They all blur together. Ariane Levier was like, "I'm calling it now. This is the album of the year," and lo and behold, it was their album of the year. Mm-hmm. And I guess I need to listen to it more because, like, I know I say it sort of as a meme, but like Stereo Gum's word really is law. Like these guys, like the Black Market dudes, just know everything there is to know about modern underground metal, and they put it so articulately, and like we found out about basically every band we listen to nowadays because of them.
It's so strange to see all of these records in my knowing, because like, what was Necromantic Ritual the best album from last year?
Yeah, Haunter was number 1 last year.
Who? I know who Haunter.
Yeah, I remember reading the Stereogum list in the cafeteria at my school last year, just like shitting myself. Like, I don't know any of these records.
No, seriously. Like, Immortal was number 3, and I knew nothing else.
Last year had a Pregnant Light. I think Immortal was 20. Oh, no, Immortal was last year. Oh, my God.
28.
Wow, I feel old.
Did Mighty...
No, Immortal's 2018.
Wait, no.
Immortal's 2018.
No, I think you're right. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So strange, Immortal number 3. But yes, no, you're right. A Pregnant Light was.
Yeah, and normally we sort of see it like they highlighted like what's that Greek band Locust Leaves or something? Yeah, like they had like don't normally have like ridiculously weird stuff like that on the top. So it's cool to see them sort of like pick almost identical choices to us.
No, it is. And we've talked about every album here except for
Defeated Sanity.
The Defeated Sanity record, which is a good record, by the way. Very strange tech death album, but very good.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's better than All Story.
It's almost sort of like vindicating in a sense, where, like, you know, when you work so hard to like keep your pulse on the underground and track objectively the best records of the year, and then see like the best metal publication mirror that own list. It feels good.
Yeah, there is a level of catharsis that you can get by being like, okay, now I'm in the know. Because I know all of these albums that these people who are actually in the know. And
it's cool seeing their justifications too, because like it's always nice when they put something that like I could never really articulate into a very clean terms.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is a great list. They provide great reasonings. I mean, I gotta listen to Eternal Champion more because, like I said, the word is law. But something tells me I just don't like trad metal.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, there's something to say that there's about 1, 2, 3. It's half black metal and half death metal on this list. You know,
and then the trad metal record,
and then the trad metal record in number 1. You know, there's that's it. So, yeah, I don't know. Like we already like all of this except for that. So it's gonna be interesting.
I gotta rip Defeated Sandy a few more times because I mean I'm sure I'd like it.
The first song on that album's so weird. It's just like I don't know. It's 2 minutes, but if you just like yos it on, it's the most interesting 2 minutes of tech death I've ever heard because it's just unlike any other metal I've ever heard in my life. Like, I don't know if you're listening. I think I'm looking at Sam's face right now, and he's listening to it. It's just, I don't know. It's funny.
What the heck?
No, right? They started off an album with that.
Wow. Well, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I'm intrigued.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Oh my.
This album's really good, but
gosh, I was gonna say something too, like something very poignant that tied this all together.
No, it's gone.
It's, gosh, what? That is such a bizarre way to start the album. What in the heck?
The German boys know what's up, dude.
Oh! I was gonna say, gosh. So obviously we talk about AMG or Angry Metal Guy a bunch, which is sort of like the largest metal blog for a number of reasons because they cover everything and you know they're very prolific. But I think it's funny because a lot of records on this list have like 2.5s on AMG. And that's every single year. Every single year you see a disparity between like the reviews that these guys give and like sort of the Brooklyn blogosphere gives, like Invisible Oranges and CS, and the reviews at AMG, which is very interesting because it's definitely shows a difference in priorities. Like I know for a fact Stereogum Jesus Christ.
See, like, no, go.
AMG gave Turia 2.5. AMG gave Eternal Champion a 3. AMG gave Mother Heckin' Defeated Sandy a 2. Like, they just value very, very different things in their underground metal, and it's interesting to see that.
Glorious Depravity just got a the other day got a 2.5.
Yeah, and that's like something that I'm sure we'd give like a 4, realistically.
Yeah.
It's bizarre, and I guess it's cool because AMG is made up of just metal fans who just happen to write for fun, whereas these guys are metal journalists. So we get sort of like the popular versus the critical analysis, and it's very very interesting.
Yeah.
It sort of like calls to attention the the frivolity of all this thing, and like how it's all sort of pointless. That we should stop trying to quantify these things, and I don't know, subjectivity, objectivity, all that fun stuff.
Bah. No.
But at the same time, come on, All Straight should be number 1 here. But you really can't get mad at the order of these lists because
no,
the order doesn't matter.
Because we debated for like half of that podcast, or like the first quarter was just us arguing about like the top 5. So like there's always an argument to be made for each and every part of that list.
Yeah, and we're all gonna value very different things in metal. Like I think we talk about this every time, but being prog heads, we value songwriting and like the ability to translate technical chops into like climaxes.
Yeah.
And that's that's very different from someone who likes trad metal or got into metal with Judas Priest or whatnot.
Right.
But alas, definitely check out the Stereogum list. It is definitely the definitive metal list for the year. I'm excited to see Heavy Blogs too, because Heavy Blog always nails it.
Yeah, I completely agree. But with that, news time.
News time. We're going in raw this week.
I got some news. First of all, have you heard the new Soen single?
It's so much better.
It's so
than
much
Antagonist.
better. It doesn't. I think it's still a little weak, but it is miles better than Antagonist. Miles. Like there is energy in the performance. You can feel like the shift of like actually putting a fucking foot down, and but I just wanted to mention that hella quick.
No, I agree. It's important to mention. Is it just me, or is this like an industry plant?
What?
Like this Soen
no
album?
Because
like the past 2 Soen albums, at least the singles, like just judging from those, were so much stronger than these.
It's weird. We'll have to see. We're gonna have an Antagonist cast, I'm sure, because we're not gonna do that in January. So prep. No, we got some spicy topics lined up. You will definitely hear about Soen in the coming weeks.
Gosh, sorry, before we move on, I love Soen. I hate that they release all their albums in January.
Yeah, me too.
Like, January is literally just the worst time to release music.
So
as 2 individuals who released our first official album in January. Sorry, you can go ahead now.
So there's an update about our friend Trapped.
Oh, not Fear Factory.
Not Fear Factory, Trapped.
What the heck?
Chris Taylor got fired from Trapped, but he didn't actually.
What?
A fake statement was put out by someone impersonating the guitarist's Twitter.
What?
Saying that the Trapped vocalist had been kicked out of the band, but he had not been.
Damn it. What the heck? I thought he was gone.
Yeah, me too. But nope. Amaruth, Rundle, and Thou EP.
Nondasuka.
It's coming out soon. The Helm of Sorrow.
Oh, yeah.
The new...
It just seems like it's B-sides.
It is B-sides. The single's good, though.
Yeah, it's Amaruth, Rundle, and Thou, dude. They can do no wrong.
Yeah, you're probably right. Interesting. Definitely good. We should talk about Cyberpunk and how, wow, that soundtrack's great.
Yeah, no, it's really solid. I wasn't planning on playing Cyberpunk for a number of reasons, but I don't really like to buy into video game hype cycles. And then one of my friends just sent me a pirated copy of the game. So I played a few hours of it, and
I'm sure there's a lot of issues.
Yeah, it's a great game, just with a lot of bug issues. It's not an RPG. It's more of an action adventure game with like minimal choice, which is fine. But yeah, that soundtrack.
Oh yeah, Oh yeah, all of the songs I was into.
Yeah, it's really solid. Like I shows the Street Kid backstory, and there's a mission where you're like driving through a car and like it's supposed to be like badass, and you hear like an injury reserve song. It's great.
Yeah.
Like it's so good.
Um,
And then like in a meeting with corporate heads, you can throw on Tomb Mold or Converge, and it's awesome.
right. It's fun. The original songs are good. I do wish Tomb Mold had a little more room than 2 minutes and 45 seconds to breathe, but is what it is. I guess you can only play short songs on the radio, a la Cyberpunk. But Deaf Kid's got 6 minutes. That's fine. It's fine.
What the heck?
Good stuff. Definitely check it out if you haven't. Otherwise, I mean, I don't know. The review cycle is kind of dry. Or the news cycle is kind of dry because the year's
Dude, what do you
wrapping
mean?
up.
I got like 5 just from browsing Metal Injection.
Send them my way. Or Sam.
Well, first things first, the most important one. We got a new whiskey from Anthrax.
Good, dude.
Oh, God. Well, I don't know. I hate it. Much more interesting. Concert industry suffers projected $30 billion loss in 2020.
Yikers.
That is cringe.
That's extremely cringe.
Quinge. Yeah, I mean that's a giant number. I knew that it is late. Losses we're going to be high no matter what. 30 billion, very very high number.
Mm-hmm.
There's live stream of the century, Ishan and Leprous.
When?
I'll send it.
Also, mentioning live stream, Greg Puciato live stream Fuck Content was one of the best live stream experience I've ever had. Honestly, a pleasure to watch. It was very interesting.
Yeah, you were sending me videos, and I was like, "Wow, this seems interesting," but I gotta go to bed.
It was very interesting. It combined like artistry with like obviously live performance. Half the tracks, or 4 of the 10 tracks they played, were new, which is really cool.
He did a rig rundown,
and they talked about writing and process like that.
I didn't realize Greg like actually played guitar. Like I know that sounds dumb,
he's in Kill or Be Killed. He is the guitarist of Kill or Be Killed.
Yeah, as a guitarist.
So yeah,
which is cool.
It's very interesting. But yes, going back to the Ishan Leprous live stream. Holy heck, that's in 5 days. Holy heck.
Dude, I'm ready to get contaminated if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, dude, please. That's nuts.
I mean, I don't know if I have to pay for this, but I'm dropping everything and going to that shit.
No, literally. That's exciting. So, apparently, the final Soundgarden album will be released at some point.
The final what, sorry?
The final Soundgarden album will be released at some point.
Gotcha. Sorry, I just have Contaminate Me stuck in my head.
No, you're fine.
Hatebreed failed to make Billboard 200 for the first time since their first album.
Yikes.
I mean, does Hatebreed suck? Is the music industry just dead? I don't know.
Could be a combination. Yeah, maybe a combination of both.
Hey, everyone I know that likes hardcore loves Hatebreed, so.
I mean, they were one of the OGs, or at least they were around during that time.
Were they? I thought they were like a late 90s band.
Oh, were they? I don't know. That's how much I know about Hatebreed.
I just know Jamie Jasta is the frontman, and he has a brand of pasta called Jasta Pasta.
That's horrific. I shouldn't know that.
Apparently, they're great live, but like, are you really surprised?
No, I'm not surprised that any hardcore band is great live. All right, let's see. Anything else of note? I don't think so.
What do you mean, dude?
I don't have anything. So it's all you.
So, Adam, do you know Doja Cat?
I do know Doja Cat. We also, on this podcast, talked about the Doja Cat Plenty drama.
Yeah, well, we got an update.
Update me.
So Plenty was talking about his new album, which is, by the way, I listened to like 3 songs. It is the most Pliny album I've heard in my life. I was talking about his new album for like an interview, and he was like, "Oh yeah, oh yes, I can't. I'm not doing a bad Australian accent, but apparently Doja Cat sent a bunch of like voice messages apologizing for stealing his riff, and he was like, "That's fine, mate." And yeah.
All right, I've got one more thing to talk about before you talk about your news. Loudwire put
I
out.
have literally no other news.
All right, perfect. Loudwire put out their 66 best metal songs of 2020. I'm going through the list, seeing if we have any common themes.
Just send it to me so we can talk about it.
They chose Anything Like Me off of the Poppy record instead of
Dude, that's literally the worst song on the album.
That's fine. They did choose Swallowing the Rabbit Hole.
Yeah.
As you should. And then other than that, Phantom Force by Havoc, Stare Into Death and Be Still, the title track of that record.
I mean, to be fair, it's probably the best song on the record.
No, dude. Dissolving into the next... Dude, no. Drawn into the Next Void is insane. Other than that, we don't have any similarities. I forgot that a new Creator album came out this year. That's sad.
Wait, a new Creator album came out this year?
Came out in March.
What? Are you joking?
I'm not joking.
What?
It's called 666 - World Divided.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Wow.
Unleash the Archer's Abyss is on that list.
Wow, dude. Oh yeah, it's right there, June 18th. Holy Roller. Shut up.
Another World was on that list. By Gojira.
Wait, what? I'm scrolling through. Oh my god, it is.
AI is on that list by The Ghost Main.
Okay, actually, the Zillakama song rips.
I don't know what that is.
Zillakami, sorry. Armored Saint. Gosh, this list is exactly what I expected. Yeah. I don't know why.
I will say the Genocidal Humanoids pick is based. I would have expected Loudwire to choose Protect the Land, but they went full Genocidal Humanoids, and I'm in for it. That should probably be on our list, because that song rips.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, this is pretty standard Loudwire fare. Like, if you close my eyes and like ask me to throw a dart at like popular metal albums, you'd get it. Fallen Torches, amazing Mastodon tune though.
Yes. Yep. Oh man, I'm excited for new Mastodon.
Yeah, me too. I mean, Mastodon was one of those bands where every time, like, they're not that good.
No, I
go back and like learn 8 of their songs on guitar and bass, and I'm like, okay, they're just the best band ever.
No, seriously,
like,
they're sick.
Mastodon's riffs. Oh my god, master riffs, bro. Like even as I get older, as I become a full boomer, like Once More on the Sun's actually an amazing record.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you want to hear a take so hot that your brains will melt?
Go for it.
I enjoy Once More on the Sun more than Leviathan.
No. That I cannot agree with. I will not stand this opinion.
Yeah, no, I told you, that's a hot take.
Also, you want to know a hot take? RYM says that Emperor Sand is the worst Mastodon album.
How? Literally how? Like, even if you don't like that album, it is infinitely better than The Hunter, no matter what.
I'm reading what RYM is saying, dude. This is. I'd
honestly say it's probably the 3rd best Mastodon album.
It's fucking up there, man. It's a great record, dude. Jaguar God, Andromeda. Fucking any of the songs. Ancient Kingdom.
Yeah, Sultan's Curse, dude.
All bangers.
Words to the Wise. Yeah, honestly, it's great. It's a really good record.
I don't know. I'll hit it with a 4 on AMG, or on
RYM.
On RYM, just so we can bump that number up a little bit.
I gotcha. Huh. Well, do you got any closing thoughts?
What's our topic for next week?
You know what? That's a good question, Adam. I feel like we hyped up this month, having talking about the end of the year, and we have the obvious ones. I think the last obvious one would be worse, but like we don't really listen to bad music.
Yeah, no, I would say that it's impossible for us to do that. I'm not sure. I'm not too sure because I don't know. We could talk about Dungeon Synth December.
Well, no, because we have 2 podcasts left in December because the way the month works out.
There's 2. No, there's only one. There's this one and then the next one. At least the day before Christmas. Oh my god, no. It's Oh, that's weird.
I told you.
Oh god, that's bad.
Yeah.
5.
So the last one of the month will be
All
Dungeons
right.
in December.
We need a good one for next week. What is it going to be? What's it going to be? Let's go through our lists. Let's talk about something.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like 2020 has a lot. 2020 in review month, whatever we called this, has a lot to talk about. Like, we could just do our best of albums, but we sort of already did that.
We could read them off next episode, but we need some more content than that.
Yeah, it seems kind of lazy. I don't know. We could just do like looking 2020 in review, final thoughts, wrap up.
Nah, that's stupid. We're not done after that.
Well, it's symbolically, thematically done.
Yeah, but then we're gonna do an episode after that.
But I don't know. Well, look, that's our backup plan.
All right, backup plan. We'll find a better plan. You know,
we'll do classics
we'll
review.
We'll keep you on on your toes for next week on what's going to happen.
Yes,
but
and the audio for this podcast will hopefully be better edited.
It will be better edited. It's recorded better, so it will be better edited automatically. And also, the love on our most recent episode. We appreciate it.
Did we actually get love on our most recent episode?
No, I lied. But we have had some more viewership or listenership in the last few days.
All right, well, in about 5 minutes, when we finish this, I'm going to ask you about that. But finally, I've been Sam.
I'm Adam.
Stay safe, stay classy, stay salty. We'll be talking about more 2020 next week. It was a good year for music. Nothing else.
Very good year for music. And absolutely nothing else.
Bye.
Bye!